On Your View, welcome to the show. Today,
I'm doing good, doing amazing. Yesterday, message was so important. Where your heart is, or they are selfish, or here there was a lot of vanity. Had a lot, so and yet I still do give. But I think everybody should go through the account. It helps you to know what is how I want to, if it's good to others who are needed.
Good. Just send it. Are you okay? Is there?
I'm very well. My week had a sleepover, and it's just funny to just went by. But
it's 6 years ago.
It's 6 years, yes. But earlier in the week, one of the wood to Ikogosi said, pastoring and all that. But and it was just very humbling to see the way we do. It's actually harvesting these young ones, and we should actually just take on that responsibility. So
perishing, my sister.
You
were feeling it yesterday.
Yesterday, I was. These things are happening, and no, it was just a wake-up call for me.
Good weekend. I went to my old house. I show my husband so when my husband lost his own ring, opportunity, but since you are not wearing your own, let me know how I wear my own, and I just put it somewhere, and I just never found it. But I found it, so maybe I'll try to wear it until I get tired.
Looks pretty on you.
Thank you. Really nice. But it's pretty. The ring is not important.
Yeah, those things are not.
Okay, don't forget to send us your life story. Our open.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Tinubu, servicing debt with 90% revenue unsustainable. Stock market deals up by 22%. Why we destroyed vessel laden with stolen crude by Navy. NEMA alert to flooding over Lagdo Dam opening in Cameroon. Nigeria loses $4 million daily to oil theft, says NSA. CCB begins verification of governor's minister's claims, and family hopeful on suspected EFCC boss Bauer's release. Okay, let me start with the major headlines. So the president has said that he was attending actually the conference, the NBA conference in Abuja, the 63rd Nigerian Bar Association annual conference in Abuja, where he was saying that servicing our debt by 90% of our revenue is definitely unsustainable. He promised to depart from what he described as destructive path. He also noted that the erratic power supply constituted a major hindrance to growth, and he urged Nigerians to have a positive attitude while his government intensifies their effort to reposition their country. He was also saying that he's not perfect, that he's bound to make mistakes at some point, and that he's hoping that the lawyers and the judges will be able to, once he makes any mistake, they should he will definitely adjust it once he's told about. That's why he has surrounded himself with people who know better to be able to ensure he doesn't make costly mistakes. He has also promised the judges that their remuneration will be reviewed, because the only way we can ensure proper justice is served is when we have judges who are well paid. He also said that we need to stop complaining as a nation and focus on the right things. It's going to be costly for the first short to medium term, but eventually during the long term, we'll definitely benefit as a country from the reforms he's putting together. So we're speaking at the NBA conference, which was invited by the Attorney General of the Federation. It was an interesting speech, and I think every Nigerian should read it, because it's a speech that actually encourages, empowers, and motivates us to believe that this government knows exactly what they're doing to get us out of poverty. Okay, another story in the nation.
So I'm taking the Code of Conduct Bureau. Barely a week in office, the Code of Conduct Bureau has started to do the asset declaration details, verifying those assets that are owned by ministers. This we know before. The Code of Conduct Bureau had to wait for ministers after they've been appointed to fill their asset declaration form, but now it's a precondition before even going for the interviews. So they have all the details. They said that with the digital world, they have access. They're partnering with the NFIU, that's the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. They are partnering with banks, the CAC, Security and Exchange Commission, vehicle registration, land registries across all states and throughout the nation. And because of things like the bank verification number, BVN, the NFIU can easily, through all the banks, access every account that any minister, governor, or appointee has access to. And this process might take a few months, but with technology, they're able to do a thorough job. The chairman of the CCB, Professor Issa Mohammed, has said they put the machinery in motion to ensure this is done, including the president, the speaker, the deputy speaker, even every state governor and all the state governor appointees down to the Attorney General of the Federation would all be getting their assets verified all through. And, I know this is a way to curb corruption long term.
The story on why we destroyed vessel laden with stolen oil by the Navy. A few weeks ago, we would recollect that there was this vessel and it was destroyed by the Navy, and a lot of people started asking questions as to why that vessel was destroyed, considering the current situation of our country regarding oil. And the Navy has come out to say that the vessel was arrested on the 15th of August, and it has generated interest in what was being tracked for alleged oil theft. And so a statement released by Adedotun Ayovon said that the vessel had been alongside for 2 years and was allegedly used as storage for illegal automotive gas oil until it was arrested. And so before the decision to destroy this vessel was made by the Navy, they had mentioned that the products on the vessel was taken for laboratory analysis, and it was discovered that these the products were illicit AGO. And so this was one of the reasons why they couldn't take it back. And considering the fact that it's been along their lines for 2 years, it was just the best decision to destroy it.
Okay. Moving on now to Punch. Cameroon dam opening evacuates to prevent debts. FG states warn flood-prone communities. Servicing debt with 90% revenue path to destruction, states Tinubu. Senator's aide, murder cases takes time to resolve. Police reply family. I am loyal to Obaseki, still want to be governor, says Shoibu. Banks, 18 others fined 125 million for late filings. Niger, ECOWAS demands shorter transition period from junta. Cash shortage, bank borrowing from CBN hits 12 trillion. And external reserves fall by $919 million after Naira float. Okay, which story have you taken in Punch?
Okay, let me quickly take the story about the banks. About 8 banks and 18 other listed companies have been fined 125 million for failing to file their 2022 audited financial statement and quarterly report for the first quarter of 2023. The banks affected, surprisingly, I felt like banks have more structure. Unity Bank, FBN Holdings, Access Holdings, Fidelity, Jay's Bank, Wema Bank, Guarantee Trust Holdings, and EcoBank Transnational Incorporated. These are the 8 banks that are part of the 18 other companies that have been fined. And this is according to the Nigerian Exchange posting rules. They mentioned that quoted companies are required to submit their audited reports. They have nothing less than 90 days in the calendar to do so. And I'm hoping the fines being paid will go into the TSA accounts to help us sort out some of our budgetary needs that we are unable to do.
Okay, so the Lagdo dam from Cameroon is about to be opened. So the government had written NEMA, the National Emergency Management Agency, that they will be releasing the dam very soon. On the states that will be the flood-prone areas. That's going to be Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Taraba, Adamawa, Rivers, Cross River are the states that are likely to be affected. According to the letter they wrote to NEMA, they will be releasing only modulated variable small amount of water at the time in order to mitigate and avoid damage that the released water might have on communities. However, they're asking the states within this region to begin to make plans towards ensuring the safety of their citizens. And NEMA has immediately communicated this to the state governors to begin to put together measures like maybe IDP camps for displaced homes food supplies for people who will be displaced for we don't know how long they will be displaced, but NEMA has sent an official letter to all the various state governments within the states to do everything they need to mitigate the moment the dam is released and had the effect it will have on the communities within that area. Now that they've told the governors, so I hope they actually do something about it and they have some time.
Release of dam always costs major.
Yes, and it's something that we know it will happen eventually, so there should be plans already within the states. Let's take one more story.
Yes, I have the story on the murder case against the senator. The Lagos State Police Commander said that an investigation is still ongoing into the killing of Adeniyi Sonny, an aide of Senator Solomon Adeola representing Ogun West at the National Assembly. And this happened on the 5th of August, where he was allegedly shot by suspected soldiers. And the State Police Public Relations Officer, Benjamin Undeyi, was contacted, and he said he didn't have an update on the story, stating that the case is now with the State Criminal Investigation Department. And so a few persons are raising concerns, saying that why is the army not saying anything, that their silence apparently means something, and something is really fishy about this situation, but there are no reports yet. And the spokesperson also went ahead to say that it's a criminal case and it may take a long time for it to be sorted out, so they should please give the police some more time to get the real facts surrounding this situation.
All right, let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple award-winning actor, producer, ambassador of Edo People, we have Etinosa Idemudia in the building.
Not be first to go police station, they win the case.
Is
So
she?
you are showing yourself.
I go see as my second
You are
question.
feeling like a contact the prancing peacock. I'm about to cut your wings. Hello. Now, in the amalgamation of 1914, who was the woman who drew the line of the amalgamation? Who cut the report? Who is the person that used scissors? What is his name?
That woman.
That
Dream.
You have done me dirty. I've marked your face. If anything happened to me today,
I don't
if I don't reach my house. Anyway, I'm gonna be chauffeured, so.
You remember now, Avi? Yeah, but you never too thin. Now you remember.
Hey.
If a person who indulges habitually in watching a sexual material is called a voyeur.
That's what they're called.
It clearly say you don't go even get the next one.
Hey, a voyeur.
Voyeur.
Then go on.
What is a person who makes one
A
called?
voyeur. A voyagiste. A bon voyage.
We're still reviewing the papers. Let me move on now to Daily Sun. Again, article raises issues over Tinubu's varsity degree. FG insists on December takeoff date for Port Harcourt refinery. Ohaneze asked Tinubu to free Kanu. NAF hits all thieves as Nigeria loses $7.2 million monthly to vandals in Abia. FG abandons 16 billion naira Boeing 737 training simulator in Zaria. Serap gives President 48 hours to reverse ban on Vanguard, Galaxy TV, 23 others from Villa. NACAT sues acting CBN governor, deputy governor, CCB over assets. And crisis looms over planned resumption of APC elected LG chairman in Plateau. Let me start with the Ohaneze Ndigbo world for the upteenth time called on the President Bola Tinubu to release indefinitely the leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. The group had declared its readiness to sign an indemnity agreement with the federal government to free the detained self-determination agitator. The group, the chairman of the Central Planning Committee for the Ndigbo Heroes and Special Allies of Igbo Day 2023 is coming up very soon in September in Enugu. The chairman, that's Professor Fred Eze, has said that the foremost Igbo philanthropist, Prince Arthur Eze, will be the chairman of the event, and they'll be honoring past Igbo heroes, which includes the posthumous awards going to Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, heads of state, Major General Aguiyi Ironsi, amongst many others who will be honored at that event. And they're using this opportunity to tell again the president that it's important for him to release Nnamdi Kanu, to show good faith to the region, and it's a way to also to show the attachment and connection to the Igbo community in the country. He said that it serves as an encouragement, motivation, and inspiration not only to the families but to the Igbo generation at large. So it's something the president should consider according to Ohaneze Ndigbo at this time. So
since I told the story about the CCB, another set of people that were meant to declare their assets are the acting governor of the central bank, as well as the deputy governor of the central bank, both which are Mr. Fola Shonubi, as well as Mr. Edward Adamu. A case has been brought to them from the Network Against Corruption and Trafficking Foundation. They dragged these two people that they didn't declare they didn't declare some assets in their CCB form, failure to declare assets to the Code of Conduct Bureau. This case was filed on the 25th of August, and the detail includes the fact that Mr. Shonubi had assets in some specific companies, that he was a director, and they listed the companies where he's a director, and did not mention it in his declaration form. They also said Mr. Adamu is a director in some other companies with their registration number, and that there is Freedom of Information Bill, and they are exerting their right to request that the CCB, that's Code of Conduct Bureau, investigates the reason why the information was not as detailed as it should be, and why they are not updated with the companies they have assets in. If we remember, part of the case they are having against the former CBN governor, former CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, is that contracts were awarded to companies that he has interest in. So it's important that you declare all the companies you have interest in, and there's no form of round-tripping of benefits to those companies while you are in position.
Okay, so, another story in Son.
Yes, the federal government abandons 16 billion naira Boeing 737 simulators in Zaria. And so this simulator is at the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology in Zaria. And this device or equipment was purchased in 2019 for $21 million. At the time, it was equivalent to 16 billion naira. But the news has it that this investment is just lying fallow and is barely being used by those that are supposed to use it. The article went on to say that it was delivered in 2016. It was supposed to be delivered in 2016, but did not get delivered, but it was delivered in 2019. And still, people are not being able to use it. The people that are supposed to use it are not meant to use it. And this just questions the fact that sometimes we just see that the government spends some monies on some equipments that we feel are necessary, but at the end of the day, are they really useful or being used for what they were designed to be used for?
You know, what you just said is an interesting hot topic, which I think is another day we need to discuss it. You know, when we just have something that's a good idea, we bring it home and it certainly doesn't fit, you know. But let's move on now to Vanguard.
We need to give
Anxiety in flood-prone states as Cameroon opens the Lagdo dam. Let's find a story of not taking. Government efforts failing as food imports rise 122%. Deficit hits 4.9 trillion naira. Serap to Tinubu, reverse ban on Vanguard, Galaxy TV, 23 others from Aso Rock. NBS employment report, a fraud labor employers fume. Supreme Court confirms PSC as body responsible for police recruitment. All right, so for those of us who have been following, let me take that, the PSC story. So for those of us who have been following the issue between the police force headquarters and the Police Service Commission, if you recall, they were back and forth on who is responsible, who is statutorily responsible for recruitment. Well, the Supreme Court has finally put to rest the lingering arguments and has said that the PSC is the one that has a statutory right to actually recruit. The court ruled this that was the mandate of the PSC to recruit police personnel, with chairman of the PSC, Dr. Solomon Arashi, retired, declaring that the judgment was for the overall best interest of national security. Arashi said that the judgment simply and legally cements the resolution of the issue in a win-win situation for the two institutions, which ordinarily cannot effectively function without each other. It must be said that therefore that the judgment is delivered for the overall best interest, and hopefully this will now put to rest this matter, and we wouldn't have any issues concerning whose right it is to recruit police into the force.
So the Socio-Economic Rights Accountability Project, Serap, has asked the president. It seemed like the Serap gives Tinubu 48 hours to reverse ban on Vanguard, Galaxy TV, and others. Let me list the TV stations that have been banned. The access to the their access to Aso Rock, to the presidential villa has been withdrawn. They said that they took back their tags that gives them access. We're talking Ben TV, Galaxy TV, MITV, ITV, Abuja, Prompt News, On TV, Liberty TV, as well as Vanguard. Now, they did not. This article did not cover the reason for this, but he said that it would seem like so Serap is appealing to the president that within 48 hours, can you reverse this in case you are not aware, because media freedom is essential to democracy being strengthened. And he said it would seem like there's a cherry picking of some people that have access and some that don't have access, that if in 48 hours they don't get any response from the president's letter, which was dated August 26th, that they would be pursuing legal actions to exert their rights and freedom of information, media rights, and access to citizens to have freedom to these things legally. So we're hoping that there will be a reply from the president's media team on the reason for the withdrawal of accreditation.
So I have the NBS unemployment report, a fraud, employers fume. The organized labor and employers in Nigeria rejected the latest reports in the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics that the unemployment rate in the country has fallen by 4.1%, describing the result as a fraud. I taken this story earlier during the weekend show, and this is coming again because a lot of more people are speaking up against the 4.1% unemployment rate that the NBS has released. And the article went on to say that the fact is that any statistical data that is not truly representative of the facts on ground loses its validity. We know that unemployment figure in Nigeria cannot be falling when the reality is that we have factories that are closing down and leaving the country, and people are leaving the country because of the difficulty in the operating environment. We see all of this coming up, and the NBS is insisting that the unemployment rate is 4.1%. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria also expressed their displeasure in these figures, and also the Academic Staff Union of Nigeria. A lot of organizations are speaking against these figures, saying that it doesn't reflect the reality on
that they are
experiencing, and that people, even recent graduates, who are the organizations that are absorbing the recent graduates. So a lot of people are really...
It's on paper, yeah, but reality is
But
different.
MBS can give us how they came about the figure, and that way they...
Okay, we have to wrap up, but there's a story that caught my attention in Vanguard I thought I needed to take about the airstrikes. So because it looked like a movie, it sounded like a movie to me, so I wanted to take the story. So according to this report, several airstrikes conducted by according to them, several kidnapped victims ran for their lives, and even the abductors too ran for their lives. But I'm happy that the Air Force were able to mop them up. According to this report, they said that some of the militants who attempted to flee through their various escape routes were mopped up. In one of the suspected kidnappers' camps, a lone structure suspected to be harboring kidnapped victims was armed with armed men around the structure, was also destroyed on the bus. So you can imagine that these airstrikes are dropping from the sky and then blow up these places, and then you have people scampering for safety, and then you have people coming
really sounds like a movie.
And then come to take our people, wrapped up and arrested. Sounded like a nice Van Damme movie, but I hope that's exactly what happened.
That's what happened. Our people are working.
Yes,
Celebration.
so Nigerian Air Force is working. All right. That's all we can take on this Monday front page review. When we return, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Ahmadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abby?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Ahmadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
Final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final
You don't
answer.
have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now. Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without you.
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah, they claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
subterfuge.
Such a fuge.
SUBTERFUGE.
So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to be called such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually a mistake. It was sending it to someone, and it just mistakenly just went that.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Vanguard the first. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the questions.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for enter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this. Because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking, because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk now. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good talking.
Now, 9 Mobile.
Thanks for staying with us. So recently, there has been serious controversy over the appointment of Hannatu Musawa as the Minister of Arts and Culture and Creative Economy, with many claiming that Musawa cannot be appointed as minister while she's undergoing the mandatory National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) scheme. What are your own thoughts on this? You can call us on 08107641679, 09024163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so as I said, usually this is a conversation many Nigerians have been having on social media for the past few days. And one of the things that we like about this show is that this show opens lines for Nigerians to call in to share their own views on this matter. And we'd like to hear your thoughts, especially because there are various parts of this conversation. According to the initial report that was released that Madam Hannatu had not concluded her NYSC. And there was a report that allegedly came from her saying that, acknowledging indeed that she had only done 8 months and she had about 4 months to go, that she had initially started back in 2021 and was posted to Ebonyi State where she didn't conclude her NYSC. However, last year she decided to go back and complete her NYSC. But now the update is that she has denied releasing that statement, saying that it wasn't from her. And therefore, and also another lawyers are now saying there are two issues here. Some are saying there's an NYSC Act that completely insists that every Nigerian under 30 who graduates under 30 must at least finish up with the NYSC certificate. The only time you're not entitled to have an NYSC certificate is if you graduate after 30 years old. Some lawyers are saying, according to the Constitution, all you need is a school certificate to become a minister or a public officer. Now, which one outweighs which? We would ordinarily say it's Constitution, but others are saying everybody has to follow the NYSC Act. So what are your own thoughts on this? That's the real conversation. And should she be disqualified, or should she be allowed to complete her, to continue as minister, as appointed? Call us on the numbers on your screen. We'd love to hear from you. Tope, what are your thoughts? This is an interesting conversation because Nigerians have been talking about it and asking for either for her to step down or at least put on hold while she finishes. What's your own view on this?
I feel I would not disregard the laws of the land. The reason we have laws is so that we can put a bit of check and balance. But I would not want us to be ticking the laws and have no human feeling or understanding that with the problems we have as a country, competence and ability to fulfill the job is more important than documentations that are affiliated to it. If the information is she lied about something, if the information was that she was dishonest about information that was released, then I can understand. If this information came out before the screening, or during the screening, or at some point before she was sworn in, then I can understand. But at this point, she has gone through the then the information conveniently came out. I'm wondering, okay, please, let's get our eyes focused on what is most important to us as a nation. She has a job that she's doing. Let's stop media trial. We find it easy to defame somebody in the media, pick up a story and just say whatever I want to say just to see how we can cause katakata, do what they are meant to do. If not, can we just move on? Issue or the other. And it also calls to question this investigation. The president had a team clear her.
Like that part you took us to before she even got screening exactly for. We'll come to that, but let me hear your initial thoughts about this.
We do not know together before the big day. So sometimes we will think that, NYSC, is it not WAEC certificate? And we think that, situations that would make us remember the importance of getting our documentation in place, because we have to be ready. Sometimes says that she was actually nominated also because, and I sometimes that affirms the things you can do, because it is a process or necessary for our next step.
Because the law requires it. And then the issue of that she had completed her National Youth Service back in 2003 and should be issued the withheld certificate. However, NYSC, these NYSC certificates, and according to them, Ms. Musawa then opted to be remobilized to serve out whatever period of time NYSC believes is about. The issue of the don't say anything about NYSC certificate or DSS, who had screened the ministers have been appointed. The issue in her position as minister, which insists. So that's with the conversation. It's going to be cherry picking what we allow, because that's the problem with that. The law says this.
So that there are gray. When I say gray areas, people. That's why we have a line. Does not appeal to me, or should not be affect me. And your lawyers will take it to court, and they would get to court and be able to say that, okay, actually, when the Supreme Court will tell us how the law should be interpreted, it does not mean it is illegal. But what we are seeing going on right now is that Nigerians have turned themselves to join and resign. No, there's a process. President accountable will hold his team the team that nominated him, the president's team that did the first vetting before he got to the Senate. We will hold blame on this issue. Some lawyers would say counter each other. So it's of drama from the get-go.
Oh, yes.
And
okay,
I just
going back is why I'm talking about the issue of she had written the NYSC through the Kaduna State Coordinator. It was burnt, the letter. So according to her letter in my house, at the Kaduna State NYSC Search Coordinator, Issa Wana, we forwarded to Ms. Musawa's request to the court in Abuja to verify if indeed they so. My point is that at that moment, it was like, oh, I had it got burnt.
You go to
you're not understanding me. What we are hearing now is that she did not complete it.
But just that because she had put up a letter.
There's a lot of hidden stories. Pencom. And that appointment did not go through because there was not a requirement. If not, there's deception. If they take it to court, they would say it's a different situation and say we have disqualified her. I don't even have any issue against that. But I feel like if you want to, it's way. Like don't leak it to the media. Whenever you Google, last 2 weeks ago, how she was dishonest about service, how she was serving. Why do we do that when there is no facts backing it up? So let us follow the due process. Let the information.
Many lawyers have spoken for Father and amongst others have also said their own.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. Right here, within this beautiful cocktail, we call the Black Table.
Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah, they claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
subterfuge.
Such a fuge.
SUBTERFUGE.
So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to be called such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually a mistake. It was sending it to someone, and it just mistakenly just wrote that.
Yeah.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking at
Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name? You say I won't make them better now.
Rock Heart.
No, of the goats when they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to open our phone lines to Nigerians to call in and let us know their views on this matter. Let us take Mr. Taiwo from Kelechi. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Thank you, Madam Taiwo. I'm the first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I'm always on your program, and you guys have been doing a very wonderful point of view. But my take this morning concerning the minister, you see, I appreciate your team, but however, there is a discussion this morning. We should look at the addition. Is that not the certificate issue? NYSC certificate issue that she was dropped or she was asked to resign. And then the other lady was saying that NYSC is not for the ministerial position. A lady that was rejected in 2019, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Let's all do things right. Because they are government, and then because you can do and undo, and that's what they are doing. It's like ordinary person now did all these things. It's against the law. We want the best for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because I campaigned for him, I voted for him because I know if the man can do it. So, but when other things are really happening around him, I said, this woman is a law. It's a law.
Mr. Taiwo.
And you shouldn't compromise that.
Mr. Taiwo, let me ask you.
People from his own state. You shouldn't be
Mr. Taiwo.
Alone. Please, let us be guided. You can't say for ministerial post, NYSC certificate, it's not that.
Mr. Taiwo, let me ask you a question. If we're looking at competence, which many will say is not in question, of our ability to actually do the job, which we believe Mr. President knows by even nominating in the first place. But NYSC is a document, which according to Toby is not what even qualifies you as competent or not. It's just a requirement as a citizen of this country to do. So if we weigh those, do you think the president should at least retain her as a minister regardless? I think I lost it. Okay, I guess we lost the connection. I mean,
so I think that we Nigerians, because Nigerians go with headlines and we don't dig deep, we will confuse stories. Kemi Adeosun's story was not that she did not serve or she was serving. The story about Kemi Adeosun was a forgery situation. A certificate was produced for an NYSC period that was not accomplished or done at all. It was on that ground she was stepped down. This is not a case of forgery. They did not allege that she submitted a forged document for a ministerial appointment. That's why it's always important to get facts, because we will now start muddying up the story, and a year or two from now, you will not even know what the truth of the story was, what really happened. So inferred story, this is what I think, this is how I feel, is not fact. Fact is, they have not accused her of submitting a fake NYSC result. They have not accused her of being dishonest. They've said that she's currently serving, and based on the fact that she's serving, she cannot take a political appointment. That's what they are saying. So, and that is subject to the law saying it is right or it is wrong.
So my question now is, what do you think should be a crisis management strategy? Because when the article came out where she was saying that, listen, yes, I am a copper, I've done 8 months, I only have 4 months left to go, she had come out to say that wasn't for me. But how do we manage this? So there are a few people saying that, okay, the president should come out and say, listen, I nominated her, I'm standing by her, she's my nominee, there's nothing to do about her. Or she's my minister, and I'm standing by it. Others are saying, no, let her put the step down for a moment, finish up, and then come back. Others are saying, totally disqualify her. What do you think should be the resolution to this? Let me come to you, Toby, your thoughts.
The resolution on this, for me, I do not think that us stepping down now and continuing after 4 months would be the way forward, because we think about the ripple effect of these things in another 4 months. So the ministry in which is overseen, what then happens? Would there be an interim person taking over or an acting minister? What then happens? Because that's another process that would have to take another time. I mean, because, you know, even before these ministers were settled for, we know how long it took us. Now look at this happening again, and what would then happen going forward?
Well, we'll see how that, because, I mean, let me take this call from Abbas. I'll come to you, Tokwe. Abbas from Enugu, thanks for calling.
Yes.
You're live.
My take is this. We are not looking at competency, we are looking at character. So let the president choose people who have character. So we can't be discussing service while you are a minister. How does it sound? You are quoting law. You are quoting law to defend her. That is what sometimes during Buhari's regime, somebody didn't serve, and she was made a minister of finance. And we are defending this one now. So where do you want us to go as a country? This might take. Please, let us not side people that is not competent to do.
I didn't hear him very well.
We were still going back to Kemi Adeosun and the Buhari saga. Like we said.
Well, please increase the volume.
As in, it's like we did not hear. Nigerians, once we've heard something, we don't hear any other thing. According to majority of Nigerians now, it's that this woman does not have character. That's not what they are discussing. The conversation is, I don't need to shout because you can hear me from my mic. She's still serving, and now she's been appointed a minister. So we're trying to decide if she should finish her service and step down for being a minister or not. A part of me feels that the president should have put a statement immediately this news broke out to say where he stands. When there is silence, people will feel it with different things. Maybe he's also trying to get more perspective to the story. Maybe we'll give that benefit of doubt. But if he does, it's an executive position. She's serving at the pleasure of the president, backed by approval of the House. The House has approved, the Senate has approved. She's not a lawmaker. If she was going, Falano was quoting regarding a lawmaker contesting for an elected position. She's not contesting for an elected position. She was appointed. So all the conversation on preceding the precedents that we have legally don't apply to our own case.
According to you?
According to the precedents quoted by all the lawyers that have quoted, none of them have quoted the case of a minister who is serving. So we have an opportunity to make a new interpretation to the law. Let us not subject it to our own. Let the Supreme Court do that interpretation, because what they are quoting now, Femi Fana and other lawyers are quoting the case of Modibo. It is a case of they took it to the High Court. High Court said no, strike out. Appeal Court said bring him back. Supreme Court said we go back to the High Court's rule. So now we have precedents. Now we don't have. So the president can stand in as his role as the executive CNC and say, I want her there. I believe she can deliver. Or we can decide to say that the president is not saying anything. The president says, let's go with the rule of law, and they take it to court, and we wait until the court decides, and we know what we're doing regarding this matter.
Because I hopefully can get more calls. Because if the president picks anybody to run, we expect that he knows. So why is her competence being questioned?
No, it's a character that I
know. I'm just saying that. Okay, so competence and character. Why is it therefore being questioned? Because, and if now my own worry now is, the document, which was supposed to be like a crisis management document, saying that, listen, yes, I've done 8 months, I have 4 months left, we're still having a conversation with NYSC. Was that right? If she's now she has denied that she didn't come from her office, what do you think she, as a person, ought to do at this moment? As you said, the president would have come out with a statement defending his nominee, defending that, listen, I picked her and I'm standing by her regardless. That would have been great for Nigerians to see at this time. But her as a person, should she be mum? Should she retain being mum? Or should she come out to say something? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Vanguard the first. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for Inter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this, because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking, because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk now. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good talking.
If you don't jump, person go jam you. You know, every time you open that your stupid mouth, you show exactly what you know.
What? You are drunk.
Jesus!
You can't defend your wife anymore now, Julius.
Right. None of this is his fault.
What's going on?
I can't explain, just come.
We are the Durojais.
We are the Akbans.
We are the Obioras.
So how are you two doing?
Who cares?
She's a rude girl. You are a stupid man.
Oh, Miss Mila, you are a stupid woman.
I mistakenly carried her bra. Mistakenly.
Hey! You took my bra. What gives you the right?
He said he can face you.
This is interesting.
What? I thought all we were doing was for your own good.
Which is to get married.
Get down here.
If you had fainted and you just woke up, what would you like to eat?
This is an old comedy script.
Who is this mysterious guest?
Honor is the name. She is the brain behind.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter with Ms. Hannatu. Let me take Neka's call from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Neka, you're live.
Okay. Please, the question is, why is she just serving now? Did she just come out from the university or something? We should, it's time for us to be a bit more different in this nation. We should face the truth. Did she just finish?
Neka, let me answer that question immediately.
What is the reason for her serving now? That is what we should consider.
She didn't complete it when, I think it was back in 2003, I believe, when she had served and was posted to Boeing State. Right? Unfortunately, she didn't complete it. We didn't know exactly what happened that she didn't complete it. Now, we're saying that she's been appointed as minister 2023, and we're saying that can she go back to complete it, or if she completing it, should she be allowed to retain her position as minister? That's really the conversation.
Please, she's not the only person in this mission to be found competent to serve in that capacity. There are many more people. Let's look for straightforward people to do this, to help us in this position. I heard she responded, from when we were discussing. I don't know. It came up. As comments came up. Is that the right thing to do? Does that show a good citizen? What's the more?
That's the thing. And it's a really, this is really worrisome. And I would go back to what we say, how we say it is very important. Now she's saying that what she's done does not show good character. Is she a good citizen? I read an article on Kemi Adeosun saying that she cried every day for 3 months on that NYSC issue. She did not even put together, she said she knew she did not do NYSC, that by the time she got a Nigerian passport to be able to come to Nigeria to be in Nigeria, that she was born in the UK, she's a British citizen, but she came to Nigeria and decided to get a passport. She was already after the age, but somebody packaged and told her that we will submit all your documents for you. Yeah. So she didn't even check it. It was when they now found out that there was a certificate included, which she knew she didn't serve, that she went through 3 months of depression. We understand that human beings, yes, if you've done something illegal, you should face the law. And during that time, I was of the opinion that she should step down, which she did. This person did not do something illegal. People run away for some reason. Some people will say, this environment was too tough, I could not stand it. My life is being threatened, I cannot stand it. I've had to beg someone to go back to serve because the person said, I cannot stay in that place. The place is so uncomfortable. But what would we say? The person has absconded. So the conversation around this, please Nigerians, seek the fact. If you don't have the fact, don't just bother. Wait for whatever rule of law would come out on
let me just correct myself earlier. I said 2002, it was actually 2001 that she had initially served. But let me come to you. I mean, we have to wrap up on this, but go ahead,
You asked a question about if she should keep mum or just say something. Our custom in Nigeria is one that after another big news comes, Nigerians will forget. They would move on quickly without remembering that something like this happened, and that sometimes may be advantageous to stories like this. And the second thing I was going to mention also is that never in our wildest dreams would we have imagined that a serving copper would be appointed as a minister. And so it questions the fact that our laws and our constitution has to have a review. Because if we think about this more critically, the realities on ground now are different from the times when these constitutions were put in place. So it will just be to our advantage if we take this as a wake-up call, especially to our lawmakers and policy formulators, to do a revamp of our constitution.
So some people have actually asked for the revoke of the NYSC program in itself for different reasons. We know a celebrity, Kate Henshaw, had said that for security issues, they need to scrap it. So I guess this brings up to conversation again that do we still need to retain the NYSC program? Let me take this call from, I think I have a call from Kazim calling from Plateau State. Thanks for calling, Mr. Kazim. You're live.
Thank you very much. Very nice program. I think you said a lot concerning this issue. First of all, the question we should be asking, which one of the discussants asked it, is the NYSC certificate, is it a prerequisite for you to be a minister? If it is yes, does she have it? If it is no, then she should be pulled out. Then again, is there any regime that would not have such situations like this? We had a former president that was alleged not to have finished secondary school, but he has finished his 8 years and left. So I think we have much more important things to be discussing. If you dig deep, I think you question a lot of people. Yeah. The people that screened her, the senators that screened her, the presidential committee in the first place, did they put all these things into consideration? And thank you for enlightening Nigerians. This is not a case of forgery. Because I've seen different posts concerning this.
Yeah.
Some people said that she forged as a case and stuff like that. This is not the case. So please, we need legal luminaries to come and just shed light on this, just for future reference.
So many of them have tried to share and there are different perspectives up and down, but some of them required. It's not according to the constitution, it is not required. So really, she has not broken any law of the land. It's the NYSC Act. However, so which one supersedes which? And it's obviously the constitution. So there's really no conversation.
By a Supreme Court. You know, you said that this has not happened. The law should be. The law cannot cover every scenario. It is impossible. That's why there's a Supreme Court that if the law that you don't understand how to interpret it, you will go to Supreme Court to help us to interpret this. And once that becomes interpreted, once Supreme Court says this is it, that judgment becomes law.
But people are worried about starting a precedence of such, where, okay, because I see one young guy, he's very good in IT, he's very smart engineer, he hasn't finished his school, but, you know, I think he can actually become the Minister of Digital Economy and make him, you know, there are different things can start. So to avoid precedence is always the reason why people come up, because let us be clear, are we following the law or are not following? Which one should we, or do we need a presidential waiver? Because the president can give you a waiver and say, you know what, I don't even care if she has it or not. This person has the competence I need for the job I require. Therefore, I'm giving her a presidential waiver that you don't need NYSC. And, you know, so these are things that could be done easily. Yes. But we're just like I said, we are just starting school. We're just talking about it because it's hot and Nigerians are asking questions. But let's take a few comments on social media. I want to say a few things, Toby? No. Let's take a few comments on social media so that we can move on.
Adijat Mohammed says, let's be serious here. How old is she? Is she below 30 years? If no, why didn't she apply for an exemption letter to forestall all this noise? Then Adiola Adido says, according to Topway, if NYC is no more important and relevant, then scrap it.
I didn't see that.
Fiona says, where she came from, we know the North. What if there's no competition and she's qualified with other criteria to be a minister? People are just asking how old she is, but this information are also on the internet that we can find out then. And Snam says, I don't even know why education requirement is required. The America we follow ask you to be 35 and be American born. So she's just giving
us different requirements. And again, so we always decide, do we want to go with our laws or do we want to cherry pick when we follow the laws? But I think this conversation can actually be wrapped up right now because the truth is that the Nigerian constitution does not require for you to have that NYSC to become a minister. However, the NYSC Act insists that everybody who is below 30 must get an NYSC certificate after serving. You're going to say something?
Yes, Fiona says, Nneka, what if the zoning found her? Ministers are not just appointed. What if she's the most qualified in education in our zone? So that's another question too that we think that, because you know a lot of people are saying, why don't you pick somebody else that has lesser drama? And this question also.
Well, so NYSC came out to say, yes, confirm she's a serving corporate. That's why the conversation started. So I guess we now have to wait for her employer to let us know as Nigerians if they're going to retain her. And if they do, I think it's something we should accept. And so far, she hasn't really officially released any document. The document that is flying around is not from her. She has come out to say, it's not from me. So she hasn't said anything about it, and I think Nigerians can put the case at rest at this moment. Let's go on a break now. We'll come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of Protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 or 7, to be honest. Because, ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We will not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
About neuroplasticity.
And based on...
He asked a question that was subjective about high life. And he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, my day.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Seun Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is this show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw caution to
We
the
have
wind
no
right
morals here.
On the 7 of 7. Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually a mistake. It was sending it to someone, and it just mistakenly just went that.
Just a 7 of 7. My name is OJ, and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7 is Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name? You see, I won't make them better now.
Rock Heart.
No, of the goats when they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
He didn't get it. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just.
No, wait. No, don't. No. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. With your hunchback.
That was it.
You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean. You understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
But I try now.
Were you there during the military era of Abacha and Babangida? You know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that Gen Z, I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 they pass exam. Don't drink this thing. Well, baby, you are on here. Drink out. If I land you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
teeth can
strongest
self-repair?
bone, the strongest bone in the body. No, teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone.
Thanks for staying with us. So still on the issues of ministers, we have some comments by the Minister of Power, Mr. Adebayo Adelabu, who has urged Nigerians to stop raining curses on electricity workers in the country, but always pray for them, that prayers and support would actually help them to move the power sector forward. He was also quoted as saying that the power would improve in 6 months, especially with the addition of a national grid that can produce about 700 megawatts in the next 6 months. And so these are promises from power. It's not our first time hearing from ministers of power, giving us all kinds of promises. What are your thoughts on it? The fact that he says that we should stop raining curses on electricity and we need prayer and support for the power industry. If you recall also, the president recently, doing his speech at the Nigerian Bar Association conference, which I took earlier during the paper review, had said that we will improve power. The power is obviously key to development in our country and is an important sector for us to focus on. And the minister had said that the 2023 Electoral Act had empowered the states to take advantage. Also tweet to us at TVC Connect, please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So you want to go ahead?
I'm all for stop cursing. I feel that we Nigerians have developed a bad habit of cursing out our leaders, cursing out civil service, cursing out service providers. It's a very bad habit because you cannot expect to be blessed by what you're cursing. You cannot be cursing something and hoping it would work. You cannot say something negative about something you are hoping something positive will come out of that thing. So I'm 100% supporting our new power minister, Adelabu, on the not raining curses on electricity workers or electricity officials. However, I don't believe in promising, over-promising. I believe in under-promising and over-delivering. And a lot of our ministers, everybody's just declaring what they will do, and I'm like, been there, done that. Let's move on. But I also don't want to sound jaded, like I'm so used to this. I want to be pleasantly shocked. I'm just being careful because Nigerians will take you at your word, and you're also setting up yourself, and I really don't want that. I'm all for praying for the administration to work, praying for power to work, and I want Mr. Adelabu's ministry to work, but promising us this much change in the power sector within a short period of time, I'm worried. I'm really worried, but yeah.
Okay, so as I said before, we've gone through this before, where ministers come in. In fact, even when the APC government took power
8 years ago.
8 years, was it 8 years? Yeah, 8 years ago. You know, they were saying, we can do this, we can do it, making all sort of promises, right? And then when they now entered the government, they're like,
That's what it be.
This is a serious matter. So after year one, they started hearing us. In fact, they were telling us 16 years of decadence for like the first 2 years. Every comment was about 16 years of rot, 16 years of this. You know, we heard that for a long time, but about year 2 or year 3, that we began to really see some activities. So do you think this minister is preempting hoping that Nigerians would accept that he's going to do something good? Or do you think that it's too early to be saying all this? Or he can actually fix the problem, do you think? Are you optimistic?
I think he can fix the problem, but the question is the duration, right? So for me, I see that Nigerians are very used to not having electricity, just living life, you know, as it is, and looking for alternative sources of power, which some homes have resorted into using things like inverters, generators. But we see that the effect of this also affects the finances that are currently being put into the homes. Now, I'm very hopeful, but I do not think that 6 months is realistic.
He didn't say all of us will have power.
Yes, he said it would improve. It would improve. So Improving means maybe from 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes. Just know that things will get better over time. And then I also wanted to just maybe encourage him to say that take your time to work, to do the work. I know that there are a lot of things that Nigerians would expect from you, especially just being new into it and just want you to do a lot of things. Well, please take your time to work, and we are hopeful and we look forward to the improvement in electricity because it is not funny.
No, but he said it. He said that 70% of Nigeria's problem is power related. He said that if he said saying 70% of Nigeria's problem will be 70% of Nigeria's problem will be solved if we get power. Obviously, that's right. We'll be able to get more employment. If you talk to business owners, manufacturers, they'll tell you power is their biggest cost. Even companies have had to cut down hours with which they are running their entire system because of power. So we know power is important, and our eyes are usually on the power ministers. So I'm actually wishing him the best of luck, but I like what he said. He's not saying I will do it. He's saying that there is a law, and that is the thing. The law that has decentralized power generation. So each state can generate power, and that for me is the real game changer. And it's not him. It was done before he got there. If we are able to maximize that value chain that Lagos State is generating, Ogun State generates and sells to Lagos, everybody can solve power problem. It's now more open than before. So if we take advantage, and he probably brings in that, what do you call it? He brings everybody involved into like a round table, and we discuss how we can help each other. States that don't have the money know how to do PPP and all of that. Power issue can be easily resolved.
Let me take this call from Abubakar. Thanks for calling, Abubakar.
Good morning.
You're live.
Yeah, I'm calling from Suleja State.
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to make a comment based on the statement of the new Minister of Power.
Yes.
You know, we Nigerians were expecting a very whole lot from this situation of this insufficiency in power sector. I bet you are going to get a result. But you are yet to start. You're already telling us that the reason why power is not stable is because of a lot of courses that are being relapsed daily by Nigerians on NEPA and all of that. You know, sincerely, this administration came in on the basis of capacity and incidental capacity by demand that is the aims of affairs. And I'm praying and urging the president to really sit up. You understand? I know that he's riding on incidental capacity that he has displayed in the past, and he should not trail the usual thing of just let impunity. You understand?
Yeah.
But the other time I tried to call you people, even though the topic has been discussed and the time is up for that.
Okay, all right. So
Nigerians hear a different thing than what is
Nigerians
said.
hear through the filter of their mind.
The man did not give excuse. It did not. The man simply said that Nigerians should stop cursing electricity workers and praying for them, that we need collaboration for power to grow, for anything to work. There's collaboration between Nigerians and the officials. How did Abubakar hear that he said the causes is the excuse for us not having power? Hey. I did not understand how Abubakar heard that one. Because that wasn't what we said.
Exactly.
Neither was it what he said.
Well, going about dates and all that, because, I mean, government have given us a few dates, We have that by December, Port Harcourt refinery will start. We are waiting. Because they told us Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Was it April? Yes, April will be start working. What month are we now? We're in August. We're in August. So they'll tell us, it's because of the rains. So they give us all these numbers. And then our jury was on this show and told us by the end of September, we're still holding him to that, because I remember I asked him, Kelly, are you sure that Dangote refinery will start by end of September? He even sent me an article. So we'll wait till September, end of September. Hopefully that the Dangote refinery will start working. So these are dates we keep getting, and we note them down. So he's not saying we'll all have power in 6 months. He's just saying that there will be improved power. They're going to have 700 megawatts based on the new grid that will be added. And I think he talked about something about the dam, the Kenji Dam. I'm not sure what he was planning. So they plan to do some adjustments. We'll review this, our new minister, Adelabu, in 6 months and see how indeed power has reduced. And it's good for Nigerians to note all these dates down, so that when we are calling our government, to account. These are the days to remind them of their promises. Although even though we account them, what are they going to do? Are we going to beat them?
That's the big question.
But at least they will know that we're going to be asking questions, and it will be on record that the media would show that
we have to.
This is what
we have to wrap up on this, because I know that we have to speak with NEMA concerning the possible flood that might happen as a result of the dam. But before I wrap up, it's important for me to take our jury's comment, because we took the story on the paper review concerning the fact that Serap is planning to sue the federal government, or even as the presidency, concerning the 23 or more reporters that were barred from going to the villa. So a jury has sent a message concerning that. It's important that I read it out so that we are clear. According to him, Vanguard News got their photographer removed due to redundancy. The reporter remains. We had 97 core members, and we removed those whose presence could not be justified. No media with a reasonable size audience was affected. It's not about disallowing anyone from the villa. It's about overcrowding our facilities, and they're managing that. So according to him, we didn't just indiscriminately remove reporters from the villa. There were too many people coming from various media houses in the villa, and they had to remove some. So that we have a manageable amount. I can pick the names of who I know here, Vanguard, this, I can pick all the people who are there, that there were too many of them in the villa. That is his discretion as the spokesperson in charge of media for the presidency. So
there are some names there are some newspapers that are big, that have nationwide spread.
So they'll be there. So he's saying that was not true. That is, the article itself is not true. Saying that there are people who are represented, the other newspapers, they're all represented. It's just that some people were removed. Not entirely, according to a jury. But hey, we can always verify. But I think we wanted to wrap up, but I'm told that our NEMA visitor is not here. So we might continue with our previous story. I'm told that Mr. Kazim is on the phone. Thank you, Mr. Kasumu, actually. You're live, Mr. Kasumu. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Talking about the power minister, in terms of that abusing, it's something that is within us, Nigeria. That before even within us here in the state, if they sit like now, we talk about it, is part of us. So we just pray what he said should work. But I don't think it will work, but we are praying. All I'm encouraging, I hope these solar people should come in. Our Nigerians investors should invest in solar so that they will face challenges about the power sector. If they are having rival, maybe they will work on it. So that, because with this power, the federal government will generate income. But I don't know what is happening. Thank you. I'm a first caller.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kasumu. So we're going to quick break. As I said, after the break, we're supposed to have someone from NEMA, but unfortunately we can't reach him. So maybe we'll have the conversation another day. So we'll continue this conversation about the promises made by not just the power minister, other ministers. We'll see how we can hold them to account on all the various promises they're giving. I know that Dr. Betta Edo also told us they're going to reduce poverty or I mean, there are a few figures. We'll confirm that when we come back. But when we come back from the show, we'll discuss all the various promises we're getting from our new ministers, and hopefully we can get them accountable for these promises. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
This is 7 of 7. My name is OJ, and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7 is Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name? You see, I want to make them better now.
Rockheart.
No, of the goat when they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
He didn't get it. You know. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just.
No, wait. No, don't. No. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. Buga with your hunchback.
That was it.
Buga. You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean. You understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
But I try now.
When you there during the military era of Abacha and Babangida, you know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that Gen Z, I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 the passes. Don't drink this thing. Where baby you are on here. Drink out. If I land you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Ahmadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abby?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Ahmadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink. Huh? No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing the Minister Adelabu's comments recently when he gave a press briefing concerning some of the things he hopes to do. And one of the things that got me laughing or cracked me up when he was talking was like, we need to understand the power sector, the transmission issue, what are the issues? The generation, what are the issues? What is going on? And it cracked me up because we know the issues. There's no Nigerian that doesn't understand the issues concerning transmission, generation, and distribution, because we've been discussing it. Maybe some people don't know, but at least on the show, we are very clear on the major issues. So when a minister is going to start over on what are the issues, is that a cause for concern? Because really, there's a part of the issue that many ministers don't even know, which is with the people. Because they'll tell you cost reflective. As much as we understand what NERC will say, oh, based on our guidelines or our law, we should be reviewing after every 5 years. You know, we know the issues of how are we paying cost-reflective tariffs or not. These are some of the issues. Transmission, we're transmitting this amount. Distributions cannot distribute it because of the capacity. There's so many other issues that is there. So, but they are part of that to even solve it. Is that are Nigerians willing to pay what is required for power? Because they'll say, how much are we earning? We don't have money. We are poor. How do we pay for? So it's not just about transmission, generation, and distribution. It's the ability for you now to distribute it. Can people pay for it? So there are more issues. I mean, let me come to you, talk about, because you're also very privy to some of these issues that we'll be discussing about for years.
We're tired
so when your minister is coming to talk about, I want to start asking about the issues. Does that concern you, or do you feel that we need?
So you know, we've always spoken about the importance of putting a round peg in a round hole. Means that we're putting in someone that understands clearly the challenges of the ministry and how to solve the problem into where it should be. Conversation around problem with power sector has always been the fact that we don't, even if we generate more power, our transmission, which is controlled by the government, cannot transfer that to the discos. So we have GENCOs, we have discos, and we have TCN, Transmission Company of Nigeria, in between. Privatized GENCOs, privatized disco, TCN owned by Nigeria, and GENCOs are complaining that when we generate more power and we try to push it through transmission, grid shuts down. Yeah. That's when we have those power collapse, because the grid will shut down because of too much energy. So what comes to disco is less than what is being generated and what their capacity to, or what Nigerians need. So the TCN is in between, and that is 100% controlled by the minister. So, sir, we know the problem. How we'll solve that problem? Infrastructural investments that the government will be putting into the TCN. That is what we want to hear more of. How we want to improve distribution by providing that more meters are everywhere, affordable. Yes. That is what we want to hear about.
Let me take this call from Kunle. Thanks for calling, Kunle.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Well done, please permit me to quote a chapter of the Bible. The Bible says, when the foundation is being destroyed, what can the righteous do? Now, what I'm saying is that if the way Buhari's administration, through the Fashola, when he was the minister for power, the effort he made on the power generation, especially, if the previous government since 1999 had been doing that, where do you think we would be today? So the problem of corruption, sir, man, is the serious problem about this country, man. So, do you remember the Obasanjo's $16 billion?
Yeah.
$16 billion. If that money has gone to the power something by that time, shall we be complaining over the power generation today? So, if the previous government have been working rightly for the survival of this country, I don't think these people have mercy for this country. So, the money, Nigeria government money in the hand of individuals of this country. So this is time for them to come out, to bring that money out, to help this country. It's our country. We don't have another country. Let those politicians who have the chunk of the money of government money at hand, let them come out and release the money for the focus of our Nigeria, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We have to wrap up this. I'm told that Nema is on the phone in the morning. But I think the reason why I brought that up is that the issues with power is multifaceted. And I remember, I think it was back in 2020 when Minister Fashola was trying to tell us that even when it comes to the meters, we had gotten Nigerian companies to couple these meters so that we're thinking that instead of bringing it from abroad directly, let us get these Nigerian companies to get it coupled in and then distribute. It didn't help. So we say, let Nigerians do it. We now do it. Unfortunately, they're having issues with even distributing the meters. So there were serious problems. So it's one thing to do transmission, generation. It's getting meters so that Nigerians are paying for the value they're using. So, Oga Minister, this matter, we know. But what we hope that you can help us to do is fix it. We don't want you to use in the first few months to be researching, because, trust me, we already know what the problems are. We have to wrap up because I'm told that we have, but let me let you have to find out there's something you wanted to say.
Yes, and this DJ's situation made us more aware of the fact that, yes, electricity is not even enough in Nigeria, but we realized that we're giving power, selling to Benin Republic, to Togo, and to Niger. And sometimes we begin to ask questions like something will never reach us. How come we're giving it out and we're complaining about these things?
Okay, so thank you very much. So as I said, we know the problems. We need a minister who is telling us, based on what the problems are, this is what I'm doing, bam, bam, bam. And he has told us a few already that he's going to be fixing some of the they're going to be adding national grid, and they'll be also fixing quite a number of the dams that we need to generate electricity. So these are some of the things we want to see, but I'd like to hear, more importantly, how we get meters to every single home in Nigeria within the shortest period of time. So I'm told now that we have our guest from NEMA to give us an update concerning the release of the Cameroonian Lagdo Dam very soon. We'll have the spokesman, National Emergency Agency, Mr. Manzo Ezekiel, on the phone with us. Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, we're happy to have you on the show. According to the story I took in the papers, so the dam will be released very soon. They didn't give us a specific date, but according to the reports, you've already contacted the governors across these states to begin to prepare for it. Could you give us an update on that so far?
As a matter of fact, the release of the water has already begun.
Oh,
because the information that is circulating is something that is overtaken by time. The Cameroonian authorities that are managing the dam have already commenced the modulated release of water from excess water from the dam. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
And the release of this excess water is also in our interest, because the capacity of the dam is about to reach its maximum, and if it is allowed to reach its maximum, anything can happen. So it's only good that they release the water gradually, and this is not coming to us by surprise, because in our preparation for flood management, we envisage that a situation like this may arise. So we have taken note of this in all our preparations for mitigation and response to flood this year.
So you mentioned that you've prepared ahead, but from the pictures and videos that are online, we would think about that preparation level. And my question would be that why is this a recurrent problem every year, such that people have to leave their homes, properties are being destroyed, and we say that we're working on it every year?
No, we are talking about rain, and rain do not constitute negativity to us. It's part of human existence. But the situation where you mentioned that people will have to leave their homes or get their property and life lost is because people are refusing to heed to the warning and advice that are always given to them. Because if you build on floodplain, what do you expect? You expect that when the flood comes, you will be washed away. So it's part of the action plans or activities that we are carrying out by way of sensitizing the people to move away from floodplain so that they will not be washed away by water.
So I wanted to ask you about shelter arrangements. We know that NEMA always gives this warning that people should move, and the reason some people don't move and their lives gets, we suffer fatalities in this avoidable situation is because we don't have options for them. And like Toby said, we've had this several times. So it would be expected that going forward, wherever there is a floodplain, we would have a shelter arrangement where people can move to when the flood comes. Do we have shelters yet? And what are the conditions of the shelters that are available? Then how is NEMA partnering with states to support them in providing relief to areas where you can't avoid it? There will be crisis with the dam being released.
The first thing I would say here is that we must understand that the responsibility of moving people from floodplain lies with the state government. Yes, it lies with the state government, and that is why Immediately we got alert of this flood. The NEMA has written to all the state governments to prepare them, to prepare their people to relocate to a safer place. And I must tell you that many people are living illegally. Many people are living illegally in locations that are prone to flood. So, as a matter of fact, this year, by the grace of God, our flood warning has been receiving a lot of positive response. And by the grace of God, we are expecting that with the level of awareness that we are having, we are not likely to have the worst of this scenario.
Thank you. So who's going to be monitoring compliance by the state government? I mean, as you said, it's really not in your hands. It's for the state governors to provide this support. And many of them have various funds that have been available to them. But some of them are not doing the right thing. So who monitors compliance and who ensures that Nigerians are actually well taken care of during this period?
Well, it's not a matter of who is monitoring compliance, but it's a matter of a collective response to a situation like this. The federal government has its own responsibility, the state has its responsibility, the local government and the community, we all have our responsibility. So we expect that in circumstances like this, everybody must be up and doing, because we are talking about saving lives and property here.
Okay. Okay, I think there's pretty much that's all we can take on that. But thank you. That is, we know that you've been able to alert the state governors, and hopefully they can do what they need to do ASAP before things get really worse. Thank you, sir. I mean, I know we've discussed this matter several times on the show, where, in other parts of the country, world, where it's volcano prone, it's tornado prone, they kind of know and prepare for these things. Either they board up, they have different natural disasters that they still choose to live in those areas. But because they know it's coming, they have a way, they have a season. So the system kind of helps them to adjust. But I think we need to get to that point in our country where this is flood. It's not like tornado and the whirlwind that just comes in. We need something. You have to actually physically move to a higher ground area that would not cause issues. So you can choose to come back during the certain season, but there has to be a more calculated approach by state government to protect citizens within this area.
Ecological funds be spent in the right areas. We know this. We have an idea of the solution, but we're hoping that our leaders would implement the best options available to them to bring about the solution.
Fortunately, that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.